for another TP Women Fireside Chat. For the month of October, we are going to be talking about breast cancer awareness. And today we have one of our Philippine directors with us, Ivan Daquioag, to talk about his journey as a caregiver. Good morning, Ivan. How are you today?
Good morning, Bonnie. Good morning, everyone. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me here this morning. Again, I'm Ivan, one of the directors, and been with Teleperformance for 15 long and proud years.
I am so glad to have you on my team, Ivan, and have you with Teleperformance. That is amazing that you have 15 years under your belt already. We are ready for the next 15, right?
I am.
So, tell me a little bit about where you're from and how you grew up. Do you have any brothers or sisters? And what was that like for you growing up in the Philippines?
Absolutely. I live and I'm from one of the island provinces here in the Philippines known as Palawan. It's an hour flight from Metro Manila. I've essentially lived there for my entire life and just moved here in Metro Manila to look for a job and then landed one at Teleperformance.
Well, that is interesting. So, how did you end up by Teleperformance? Did you always want to work in a call center, or did you want to be something else before you landed in call centers?
No. Teleperformance is just really something that at first a work that I needed to do. But again, after 15 long years, I'm still here. However, again, I'm a nurse by profession. I studied at Palawan State University, one of the universities in that island province where I'm from. Again, who studied nursing, graduated, moved here in Metro Manila, took the licensure examination, passed, and then looked for a job, a nursing job. Unfortunately, at that time, you have to pay here in Philippines. You have to pay for you to get your experience. So imagine working for a hospital, but you instead of them paying you, you have to pay them, and
Wow.
that's something that I did not want to do, and that's why again I had to look for other options.
Well, I'm glad that the option that you chose was Teleperformance because you're a great asset to our team.
Same
So,
here.
do you have any brothers and sisters?
I have four sisters, all of them. Well, one is living with me here in Metro Manila, and other three are back home in Palawan.
And as I understand it too, you've gone through quite the journey to be the support person, both with your nursing knowledge and just being the only brother or the only boy in the team, helping your sisters and your family through their breast cancer journeys. So, what was it like when you were younger and your family was impacted by cancer versus now as an adult?
Like what you've said, Bonnie, cancer has always been in our family. My mom had cancer, breast cancer. My uncle had bone cancer. Both of them died because of cancer. Two of my sisters have breast cancer, and then I also have another cousin that has cancer of the uterus. Um, in grade school, I of course I knew very little of cancer, but it was really tough living in the island provinces. Mama and Papa would go here in Metro Manila, fly every month. And so you can imagine there's only five of us that's going to be left at home. My family at that point decided to just divide all five of us, and we had to be fostered and live separately. But during that time, I lived with my uncle and aunt, and then two of my sisters had to live with a separate aunt. So instead of us being together, supporting each other, it was really tough because we did not have our core family, our immediate family po, and we had to be separated. Instead of the emotional support that all of us can get from each other, we are getting it essentially, although they are family members, but they're not part of our household. So to us, it's very strange to get emotional support coming from people that at first we did not live with. Um, but we were able to weather that. Again, every month, my mom and my dad would go and fly here in the capital city just to get that treatment for cancer. That lasted for almost 4 years. And before my mom had to leave us, that I was on my second year in high school then, and then eventually I had to learn how to live without my mom. My dad at that time, of course, was also very devastated, but he was able to also weather that through. But he was the only one who supported all five of us. My dad really did a great job in ensuring that we have everything that we need as children, and even as we grew older, but he was the only one who supported our studies. I don't know how he was able to make both ends meet at that time. But again, nursing is not a cheap course. There were two nurses, there are two nurses in the family. So imagine, he had to work double time just to have us go through college. Again, both of us, all five, not just the two of us, but there's two nurses in the family, but all five of us he sent to school, and even still provided everything that the family needs. And then eventually, again, all of us landed job. And at that time, we had to reward, of course, we have to reward my papa po, and he reaped all of the rewards that he could get from all of the hard work that he did. But he lived a full life, and then um, sometime when I was already working with teleperformance, we learned that two of my sisters also have cancer. It's really tough because one for one, it's like living again everything that we had to go through with my mom. So all of the trauma had to go back, and we have to remember everything of how we supported each other. And we're just very fortunate at this time, Paul, that we are already at a working age. So we, all five of us, are able to support each other, Paul, and financially, and be there for each other versus when we were still younger, when we had to separate and essentially live separately, and just meet like once every month if needed. But this time we are able to work through the crisis and the challenge together. But
Well, I can imagine that journey, and it's pretty miraculous of how you really have risen and come out on top to help each other. And now you said that when you started working at Teleperformance is when you found out your sisters also had breast cancer. And you said as a young person, you didn't really understand. Well, as a nurse, coming back into it with your sisters, how did that change your outlook and what were you able to do to help support them differently than when you were younger?
of course, when I was younger, I just knew how to play. So there's and to always look for my sisters, of course, but to always look for my sisters, but they were not there. We were just connected over the phone, but and again met each other at least once a month if needed. But now as I grew older, pa, and I learned how to battle cancer. It really changed the whole dynamic on how to support my sisters. Number one, of course, I learned to always be there for them, and not to disregard any symptom, any verbalized and non-verbalized pain that they may have, and just essentially be able to help them. Again, with nursing, I was able to learn some of the intervention that needs to be done to manage pain, and be able to look for, again, telltale signs of what how pain looks like, number one po, and how to really support them as they go through chemotherapy or radiation therapy, because one of my sister had to go through radiation therapy, my other sister had to go through chemotherapy, and essentially, again, just knowing the difference between the two and be able to help them manage the symptoms of their therapies and as they go through battling their sickness or their disease.
What type of support did you provide to them that you think was most useful to them as they went through their portions of their journey?
The most useful, Bunny, is really spiritual support. I'm just really praying for them and them knowing that I am there, boss, praying for their fast recovery. So that's for me is the biggest impact. And second po is just always being there for my sisters. It's very tough, especially with one of my sisters who is receiving chemotherapy from the province, because I'm here in Metro Manila, again, 1 hour flight between the two of us. So every time that she's in pain or every time that she had to go through chemotherapy session, I'm not there. But just calling her and making sure that she knows that I'm there to cheer her on as she fights through cancer is really such a big deal, and making a huge difference on how she battled through the disease. But
Yeah. And are they both cancer free now and doing well in their recovery?
yes. So the sister that lives with me po, is already cancer free, although of course she has to go through regular checkups.
Yeah.
My other sister that went through chemotherapy already finished all of her sessions. She had to go through 6 chemotherapy sessions po, and now she's just going through maintenance therapy po, and making sure that she also does all of the checks and assessments coming from her doctor's book.
Well, that's great news. And how did you balance your own needs, right? Because if you're spending so much emotional energy to help support them, how did you take care of yourself and make sure that you had what you needed so that you could, by extension, support them?
You just gotta do it, buddy. There was no choice for me. I was left with no choice but to really just do it. I'm just very thankful that I have a very supportive family, both personal back home and at work, and being able to give me all of the flexibility that is needed. But again, one is being able to work flexible hours, so I get to attend to the needs of my sisters, the needs of my papa, as he was at that time also weathering through sickness, and then be able to also juggle work in between time po. That's one po, and being able to also work hybrid, work here in Metro Manila, work from home back in the province, and you allowing me to fly back home if needed po, to support my sister and my dad as they go through their therapy sessions, but separate therapy sessions. But yeah, again, you just gotta do it.
Yeah. What was the hardest thing for you to handle? Was there one moment that you're like, wow, this is really overwhelming? Or did it all just flow in stride for you?
The hardest one, Bonnie, at least for now, the hardest for me is not being there when my sister needed me the most. I live here in Metro Manila. Just not being there po as she complains all of the pain that she's going through, video calls where she you would literally see her cry, because she's in a lot of pain, telling you that she could not sleep. Remember when we were in Boracay po, with one of our clients, and I had to answer my sister's phone call po, and not being there for with you and the clients. Well, being with you personally, but not really being there, because I had to answer my sister's phone call po, and really just watch her cry, not being there, not knowing what to well me knowing what to do, unfortunately, could not do it because I'm kilometers. And here in the Philippines, of course, we do kilometers. I'm literally kilometers away from her. So, not being able to physically do what I knew needed to be done because I'm not there.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be tough. And part of that balancing your needs versus what you want to do as a caregiver. Um, do you have any do's and don'ts or best practices to share with other people as they provide care to their loved ones in similar situations?
I think the first one po is really set expectations. And with setting expectations is doing your research. Ask your medical professional, on what the treatment is all about, what are the side effects and the adverse reactions that you have to expect as you go through the therapy, and making sure that help um, you help with making sure that they understand what they're going through, and uh, really getting their informed consent that they really wanted to go through this therapy, whether it's chemotherapy, whether it's radiation therapy, or even just going through that operation, but being on that operation table, making sure that they know exactly what's going to happen. So number one po is setting expectations and doing your research, helping them understand what the therapy is. I think with do nots or don'ts, I think it's really not discounting any fear, any hesitation, any pain that they tell you, whether it's again verbalized or non-verbalized. As a as a support person, you have to be able to know the difference between when someone is faking, that they know, and they know what they're going through, and versus someone that is really telling you what they are feeling at that time po. So being able to really discern between the two po, and help them as they go through and process the pain, and the hesitation, the fear, and just really making sure that they understand that you are there to help support them. Also give them that confidence that you're not going to leave them po. Because battling through cancer and going through long therapy sessions is really tough. So other than the patient, other than your loved one going through it, you also have to set your mind into the battle and make sure that you have your commitment, to help them through the disease. If you need break, then take a break, but do not leave them behind. Break can just be, again, here in the Philippines, it can be Yossi break, which essentially Yossi is cigarette smoking. I don't do cigarettes, but that can help you cope with the stress. Or break can just be coffee. Break can be any time that you go out of that room po and just take a breather. Again, just small breaks, or even if you need longer breaks on a vacation, as long as you plan it, just do it po. Again, supporting them is really going to be stressful. It's really going to be tough. You'll experience burnout, but you also have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you will not be able to take care of the people that you love, be it that person that had to go through the therapy, or even your full family. Again, you have to be there for all of your loved ones, all of them, and especially for me being a nurse, they rely on me to know and to know exactly what my sisters are going through, and be able to help them manage their everyday pain, everyday hesitation, everyday fears. But um, it's it's tough, but you just have to go through it. But and lastly, po, you being the caregiver is not the only person that has to support them. You always have to think that you also have and look for a support group that can help you, charge you, as you go through everything. But I again, it's just luck. I'm just very lucky that I have such a great team at Teleperformance, with you, Bonnie, being able to understand what I have to go through and giving me that flexibility to work flexible hours, work hybrid locations, and then my teammates, Jose, of course, my other counterpart as a director, understanding and making sure that he covers in case needed. But and of course, my core team here in the Philippines with Angela and Aris helping me cover some of the very specific needs of the work that we have. But
Well, thank you for your time today, and I'm glad that we were able to help lighten your journey. You've always been there for us, and we're honored to be able to be there for you and help support you and your family. I really appreciate the amount of time that you took to go through your journey. I think that it will help a lot of viewers in similar situations. So,
absolutely,
thank
Bonnie. And again, being a person that went through all of that, and now being able to go through this video, and share my experience. I know there may be a lot of us that is going through the same things that I went through. Um, I'm very much open, and all of you can definitely hit me up on MS Teams. Again, that's Ivan Daquioag, just like what I've mentioned earlier. All of us need support, and recharge you in case needed. But so just feel free to hit me up on MS Teams, and I'll be there. And not in the Philippine daytime because that's my sleeping hours, but I will be there Philippine nighttime or daytime there in the United States. But and I'll help in whatever way that I can.
Well, thank you again for the offer and the extension of support. You are a true caregiver in all things. We will do a follow-up session for our viewers where they can put in their questions, and we will do a follow-up and answer their questions. So looking forward to the Q&A session. And again, thank you for the time that you spent this morning. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, po.
All right.
See you, everyone.
Bye-bye.